You guys look amazing tonight. Tell us a little bit about your film and D-Love. I don't know. You could go many ways with that.
So, Elena Beuke, director, producer, and actress of D-Love.
Dave Rogers, the writer and actor. But you're right, it could go many ways. It's named D-Love because the actual character, we couldn't pronounce his name. He's from Copenhagen, Denmark. He had a very long name, and after a while, we just called him D-Love. And it's based on a true story that my wife and I met him about 4 or 5 years ago, coming home from a really rough trip. And I had recently lost my parents. My wife lost her brother. We were in a really bad state. And we met him at LAX airport. He asked us for a ride, and we ended up giving him a ride. And he ended up living with us for 4 days. And he changed our perspective on life. Made me understand grief in a different perspective, which really changed our life to the impact that we made a movie about it. And the three of us star in it. And that's about it.
Yes, we casted the real vagabond, the real D-Love in the movie.
I mean, that story in itself is something dynamically that you don't hear today. Like, through social media, everyone's scared of each other because we hide behind our accounts. Now, tell us a little bit about the challenges you guys faced making this movie.
The challenges, well, for me, because I had to wear 3 different hats, and because we were dealing with such a tight budget, the challenging part, I would say the actor had to suffer a little more from it, because the director had to step in and make sure that, the movie is being told and give it justice the way it's supposed to be. Other than that, it's just a long process.
It was also tough because as the writer and the director, we had to agree, since it happened to both of us, we had to agree that it's going to come from one person's point of view. We both experienced it, so you're going to look at it in different perspectives. So that was tough in the beginning because I'm writing it and she's basically critiquing it. And then we just had to treat it as if I was a hired writer, and it was her decision on what stays and what goes.
There's so many romantic films about love and passion these days. How do you compare your film to yours? Or what film would you say that's kind of like my film?
The Blind Side. The Blind Side.
Because the sense of humanitarian, about doing something for somebody you don't know and just helping somebody out. And then really you learn that it impacts you more than it impacts them, and that's really rewarding, which is why Elena, it was very important to her to make this story to be our first feature.
Now, when does it premiere?
Saturday, June 3rd, 7 o'clock.
7:15. Yeah.
June 3rd, the D-Love at 7 p.m. We look forward to seeing. All right, can we follow you guys on social media real quick?
Yes, we're on Facebook and Instagram. Follow us at D-Love the Movie.
Thank you so much. Phil James, thank you so much for joining us, man. Your film, Chance, is premiering at Dancing with the Films. How excited are you to be here with this lineup group of people?
Oh, yeah, we're super excited. This is like world premiere, so we're really stoked. And on top of it all, we just finished the film maybe a few weeks ago, so it worked out perfectly for us.
Now, I seen the trailer for Chance, and that I was dying laughing because there's a sense of community back in the South where dogs fight, and if they can talk.
Exactly.
Now, it's a unique perspective. What made you come up with the idea?
Well, we were out at a friend's house of another friend, and we ran into a puppy there. We fell in love with it. And on the way out, I was talking to him about the dog, and he's like, you know what? This dog has going to be fighting for his life tomorrow. I was like, wow. And, me and my business partner, we didn't do anything at the time, but after going back and thinking about it, we felt obligated that we had to tell this story. So we felt the best way to tell the story would be to do it through animation and through the dog's eyes. So
now, we don't get to see as much in the trailer. Now, is there a lot of violence? Would you see a lot of fighting in the film, or is it kind of cut to and...
You will see the dog fighting in the film, yeah. But besides the dog fighting, there's a huge love story that's there, and his best friend is there with him throughout the journey. So it's more than just dog fighting.
So almost like a Lion King essence.
Almost like a Lion King, yeah. So I'm super excited about it, though.
Tell us a little bit about the challenges you face on carrying this process.
Wow, this is a film that we started working on about 7 years ago. We've been animating it for about 2 years. The biggest obstacle as an independent filmmaker, as always, is the money. So that was the biggest obstacle, and that's why it took so long. But, we put it in God's hands, and he found the way, we found the money, and we're here today.
Green carpet dances with the films, man. Tell us what you have going on.
So the film I have premiering is next Saturday, June 10th. It's called Devil's Whisper. It's a horror film, but it's also more of a drama as well. I play a kid with these repressed memories from my childhood. They come back to haunt me, and I end up getting possessed by a demon.
Dude, you look mad young to have some type of... Now tell us a little about the challenges you faced creating this film.
I guess the biggest challenge was knowing what it's like to be possessed by a demon, because I've never had to deal with that, no supernatural stuff, so, you know, trying to figure that out and create that in my head was probably the most challenging, and then just being in that depressed state of mind for, you know, throughout the whole shoot was the hardest part. It was very mentally, emotionally, physically challenging, but it was the greatest experience I've had so far. But about the auditioning process, auditioned one time, and then they called me back for a callback, and then they prepared different scenes for me, and then they brought me up another scene. It was a more emotional, very angry scene, and they're like, you know, take your time. And I was like, okay, I will, to get in that state of mind. I wasn't going to come with no, you know, fake stuff. So I took like 30 minutes to go prepare, and they thought I left. And they were calling my agents were calling me, and I was just listening to music outside. And I came in, still listening to music. I didn't talk or anything. I could just see the director like, go, record him right now. And then after that, like a day later, they told me I got it, so, yeah.
Dude, when you get that call, it's kind of like a good and like, you did it.
Yeah.
Now tell us about the chemistry on set between you, the director, and the producer.
Well, I really didn't get to interact with the producers too much, but the director, Adam, who probably will come later, one of my favorite directors. He's such a easy, fun-going guy. He made working so easy for me. You know, he let me do a lot of stuff that I wanted. He was very easy to work with, and it was a great collaboration. It wasn't like he was over me or I was over him. It was collaborative effort, and which I think you kind of need sometimes.
Now, are you on social media? Where we can follow you?
I am. You can catch me on Instagram at LucaOriel_, and on Twitter as well as the same username.
Luca Oriel, thanks so much, brother. The director just hit the red carpet of Devil's Whisper. How excited to be here with this lineup of group of people?
I'm really excited. You know, you could all the filmmakers here are really excited to be here, be at the film festival. This is going to be the world premiere of my film Devil's Whisper, Saturday, June 10th, 9:30 p.m. here at the Chinese Theater. So, yeah, super excited, and also really nervous to see, you know, unleashing the film upon the public for the very first time. So who knows? You know,
that's very nerve-wracking, especially the lineup with all the horrors. I had seen a lot of horrors this year. Now,
Yeah.
tell us a little about how different is your horror.
And it's really interesting being in Hollywood. You know, we do see a lot of horrors, don't we? You know.
It's so fun to make.
Yeah. And really, Devil's Whisper, you know, to be specific and precise, really, it's a supernatural, psychological thriller. It's scary as shit. It definitely can be considered a horror film, but really, it has supernatural, psychological thriller elements in it.
Now tell us a little bit about the challenges that you made during this process.
You know, anytime, you know, everybody will talk about it tonight, you know, making an independent film, you know, for a low budget is tough. You know, when I originally wrote this film, I knew basically what the budget was going to be, but I ended up forgetting about the budget, you know, and so really this film, based on the budget, should have been a contained, one location film with maybe 3 characters. But I ended up writing with my writing partners. We ended up writing a film that had 30 locations, over 15 speaking roles, stunts, visual effects, pyrotechnics, you know. So the film was incredibly ambitious. You know, the first film that I ever produced was a film. I produced it. Bryan Singer, if you know him, he directed it. We won Sundance with it back in '93. But we essentially had the same budget and same schedule, you know, of that film today. You know, but that film was a talking piece, and so, you know, it was really, to do a film of this scope, this ambitious of a project really was challenging. But I had incredible producers, you know, and an incredible, awesome team of, you know, my cast, my crew. So they helped. We all helped each other get through it.
From 1993, the process then and now, how is it different?
Man, you know, well, the creative process is always the same, you know. But the amazing thing about today is, you know, everything, you know, working with digital, you know, that film we shot on 35 millimeter, on short ends, and you don't get very long takes with that. You have to deal with lab. You have to. John Ottman, our editor, he cut it all on a flatbed chem. And I remember being at his place and just searching for little strips of film. So really. Yeah, the process now, especially working with actors, Devil's Whisper is very reliant upon the performances. And so being able to roll the camera and keep it rolling and not having to cut, it allows for a really kind of organic performance. And when an actor is into it, I don't need to cut. I can just go, keep on going. Okay, back to one. Let's do it again. And I can keep on rolling for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, rather than having to cut. And cut just kind of throws everybody out of it, takes everybody out of the moment. All the crew comes in, and it destroys that intimacy and that kind of, when you're on a roll, you want to kind of stay on the roll. And when you're in an intimate moment, you want to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And so, shooting digitally really allows you to do that.
Now, you have any social media outlets we can see the film on, or you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram?
Well, the social media? Yeah, we're all over social media. It's at Devil's Whisper, 666 for Facebook, and I think Twitter is at Devil's Whisper 18, and Instagram is at Devil's Whisper 666.
Awesome.